Mato, I wanted to ask you, you were born and raised in South Dakota as a member of the Lakota Sioux tribe. What are some of your experiences of growing up that have manifested themselves in your art today and the artistic choices that you make?
That's a good question. I think for me, they've always been very intertwined in terms of my love for music and everything and my culture. And I would say there was a lot of internalized issues that I dealt with growing up, being native and living in a predominantly white space. And so I think of it as like music, falling in love with music helped me fall in love with my culture. And so that being said, there's always been this tie of trying to represent my people and my community with the utmost authenticity and gratitude while also showing the contemporary nature of us and how we rock. Because I think a lot of people think of indigenous people and specifically as like northern Native Americans as like antiquated. And so, yeah, I'm trying to give a new light to things. The album that song is off of is called Scatterbrain, and that released last fall, 2019. And so the whole project, I got inspired by doing a lot of research on boarding schools that a lot of Native youth were sent to back in the early 20th century. And so like my grandma is a descendant of the boarding schools in South Dakota. And so this idea of education and culture kind of became the theme for a lot of the work. And so growing up, I always was horrible in school. Like I got into USC on some sheer luck. And so, but growing up, I could never pay attention. It was a constant struggle to try to, stay attentive and everything like that. So the whole album is kind of depicting that insecurity mixed with a lot of the historical significance of boarding schools. And so it was this idea of education, whether it be forced or anything like that.
I think this maybe goes back to what you were saying about generations earlier. You said, I think what I can do in my lifetime and through the generations I pass down is show there's a oneness. Native kids in Pine Ridge, South Dakota, go through the same things that kids in Detroit go through. Can you talk a little bit about what you mean by that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So a quick aside to that. So for a couple years, I was involved in this nonprofit organization called Outlast. And the whole goal of that organization was to bridge the gap between Black and Indigenous youth through different art forms. And so for me, growing up, going to the reservation and having family out there and spending a lot of time, and then going to a school like USC and getting involved in the community, you see the through lines through a lot of this youth. And a lot of them is just stems from not having economic opportunity, not having educational opportunity. And so I just see the similarities are so, I don't know, embedded in the way you grow up in this country. And so for me, it's been the art that has been able to try to communicate the bridging of gaps. And so even like the music I do, hip hop, and that's Black culture. And so me being a Native person and using that to convey my messages and express myself is a means of trying to do that.